Good afternoon, Year 2, and welcome to our times tables lesson. We're going to be focusing on odd and even numbers this afternoon, and I'm going to share my screen right now. Okay, should all be able to see that. So we're going to be looking at patterns in the context of the 2, 5s and 10 times tables, which explains even numbers. And we're going to be doing the same with the odd numbers as well. So an even number is any number that can be divided into two equal groups. When we put it into two groups, it can be divided and have the same amount in each. So it's not like number 3, for example, that if we put it into two groups, we have a group of 1 and a group of 2. It can be put into two equal groups. We've got number 10 here. And you can see that when it's put into two equal groups, they are the same. Okay, so it can be divided. We've got a 5 and a 5 in each group. They are equal. The same with 26. Here's 26. And when you put it into two equal groups, you have 13 in both. So it's equal. They are the same. Okay, so if you put them into two groups and they're not the same, then they're odd. They're not even. So an even number will either have a 0, a 2, a 4, a 6, or an 8 in its ones column, because those are the numbers that are the ones numbers, which can be divided equally into two groups. Now, if you look at those numbers and you look at them in any number and they're in the ones, you know that they are even. So have a look at these numbers on the screen right now and see if you can work out which numbers are even using that pattern, using that knowledge. Off you go. Pause the screen. Okay, well done. So my even numbers I have got are 6, because 6 I can equally divide into two groups of 3. 3 and 3, and also it's one of our special numbers over here. 2, again, we can split 2 down the middle, 1 and 1, it's two equal groups. 70, because if I look at my ones column, it's got a 0, and I know that if I split 0 in half, I've still got 0 in each group. We're not looking at the 10s, we're looking at the ones. 34, because again, we're going to look at our ones column and it's got a 4, and we know 4 is one of our even numbers that we can split in two. 18, we look at the ones column, which is 8, and again, we can split it in two and make 4 and 4, which makes 8. 96, we can take the 6 in the ones column, split it in half and make 3 and 3, and it's equal. And again, 10, because in our ones column, we have a 0, just like 70, and if we try and put 0 in two groups, they'll be equal because they both have 0. Well done if you got those ones right. An odd number is any number that cannot be divided into two equal groups. 11 is an odd number because it cannot be divided into two equal groups. There will be one left over, or one group will have one more than the other group. You can see there, one group's got 6 and the other group's got 5. 25 is an odd number because it cannot be divided into two groups. You see, if we try here, we've got a group of 12 and we've got a group of 13. So we know it's an odd number. So an odd number will have in its ones column a 1, a 3, a 5, a 7, or a 9, because they're the numbers that are the ones numbers which can't be divided equally into two equal groups. So have a little look here and see if you can work out the odd numbers that are on these counters. Off you go, pause the screen now. Okay, fantastic. Let's go through our odd numbers together. So the first one is 1. Easy peasy. We try and split 1, we can't do it. It's going to be one group's going to have 1 and the other group's going to have 0. 3, again, can't do it equally because it's 1 and then a 2 makes a 3. 71, because I'm looking at my ones column and it's a 1, and I know that 1 you can't equally split, so the number won't be able to equally split. 37, I'm looking at my ones column, it's got a 7. Again, I know 7's not a number that you can equally split. It's not in my 2s, it's not in my 2 times table. It's an odd number. 15, again, we're looking at the 5, and we know that's the same pattern. 99, we're looking at the ones, which is our 9, and we know 9 you can't split equally into two groups. And 29 is the same as 99 because they've got the same ones. We know it's an odd number. Well done if you got all of those right. So now you're going to have a go at sorting some numbers. So you've got the numbers in the green strip, and then you've got even numbers and odd numbers. And on your paper, write down under even numbers, the ones that are even, and under odd, the ones that are odd. Off you go now. Okay, pause. Okay, well done. Let's have a little look and let's see who got them right. So 8 would go into even, 15 is odd, 67 is odd, 52 is even, 31 is odd, 3 is odd, 60 is even, 85 is odd, 19 is odd, 74 is even. And I worked out all of those by checking my ones and seeing if it was a number in the twos, and 2 times table, a number that can be or a number that can be divided equally into 2 groups. And if it wasn't, I put it in the odd, and if it was, I put it in the even. When we multiply by 2, it's the same as doubling because we have 2 lots of the same amount. All of the numbers in the green below are in the 2 times table. Can you spot a pattern? I've been talking about it a little bit. What numbers are they? Have a little think. Pause if you need to. So all the numbers in the 2 times tables end in a 2, a 4, a 6, an 8 or a 0, just like we've been talking about. So that means that they're all even numbers. So you can also check that a number is even if it's in our 2 times table. So will 67 be an answer in the 2 times table? Yes or no? What do you think? Write it down and let me know. Pause if you need to. Well, you could keep checking, but keep multiplying by 2 to check, but we know all the answers in the 2 times table are even. And if we look at 67 and we look at its ones, there's a 7. So we know that 7 isn't an even number. We can't split 7 into 2 equal groups. So 67 will be odd as well. So we know that it's not in our 2 times tables, and we know that it's odd. What pattern can you spot in the answer to the 10 times tables? What do they all end in the 10 times tables? Pause if you need to. Okay, all the numbers end in 0, which means they are even numbers because even numbers can end in a 0. We also call the answers multiples of 10. Will the answer to any number multiplied by 10 be an odd number? Yes or no? Explain your answer, write it down, pause. Okay, well done. It won't be, it'll be no, because all numbers that are multiples of 10, all numbers that are multiplied by 10, and get the answer to be when they are multiplied by 10, end in a 0. So any number multiplied by 10 will be an even number. What pattern can you notice in the 5 times tables? What do they end in their ones columns? Have a little look. Pause if you need to. All the numbers end in a 5 or a 0, and we call these answers multiples of 5. Multiples of 5 can be odd or even because 5 is odd and 0 is even. So we're looking at the ones columns, it can be either odd or even. So how can knowing all the multiples of 5 end in a 5 or 0, how can it help you to learn them? Pause and write down what you think. Well done. We can predict the answer more easily, and we can also spot an incorrect answer really quickly if it doesn't fit the pattern. So if I did a working out and I got 5 times 4 is 33, I know that I've made a mistake because it can't end in a 3. It has to end in a 0 or a 5. Right, now some time for your show me tasks. So you're going to pause the screen in a moment and then you can see your show me tasks and you can work them out. So circle all the even numbers in green and then add a red circle to the number that is even. Circle all the even numbers in green and then add a red circle to any number that is even but also a multiple of 10. So it's an answer when you times by 10. It's in the 10 times table. If you don't have a green and red pencil, just write next to them even, and then if they're a multiple of 10, write a 10. Over here, you're going to complete the 5 and 10 times tables, going further than what they've put on the screen. And then you're going to write for me the patterns that you notice. And true or false, you're going to tell me, and then you're going to tell me the answer. So the multiples of 2, 5, and 10 are even numbers. Is that right? Which ones are even numbers and which ones have odd numbers in them? So that's those multiples of 2, 5s, and 10s, the numbers we get when we count in 2s and 5s and 10s, and we times by 2, 5, and 10. Pause the screen, have a go, and send your answers to year 2 at thepalmeracademy.com. Have a lovely afternoon and see you soon. Bye.